hostels can be like $50 a night versus a hotel, which is like $250 a night. Like that's a big difference. Because of that price cut, you can definitely make your traveling experience much longer and not spend as much money. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to another travel video. In today's video, we are going to be talking all about hostels in Europe. My name is Natalie Louise. Welcome to my channel if you are new here. I backpacked to Europe this past summer and I stayed at a lot of different accommodations like hotels and hostels and Airbnbs. I wanted to create a video all about hostels so you can prepare for your first trip to a hostel because it is not like a hotel. It is not like an Airbnb. It is very unique. This video is perfect for you if you are also planning your first European backpacking trip and you are thinking about staying at a hostel. And this video is perfect for you if you're looking to keep your costs low as you budget out your first trip to Europe, or maybe it's your second trip to Europe and you're just trying to like save a little bit of money. Finally, this video is perfect for you if you've never stayed at a hostel and you already have a reservation booked and you're ready to go, but you're like, what do I bring? What do I do? What do I expect? I got you, okay? Without further ado, let's jump right into this video. The first thing I want to talk about is charging your phone. Let's just talk about the landscape of your room. So you typically reserve a room with either the same gender or it could be a mixed gender room, and you get to choose how many people are in your room as well. There's typically bunk beds, so you'll have an upper bunk and a lower bunk, and then there's typically charging stations like all around the room. And then if you have a good hostel, typically there's a charging portal or outlet or whatever in your bed. So like in the actual frame of your bed. If there was an outlet that was really close to my bed, what I would do is actually plug in my phone and then put my phone underneath my pillow so that if anyone tried to steal my phone in the middle of the night, then I would wake up because it's like underneath my head, okay? And the reason why you want to do this and just be so careful with like where your phone is charging is because I've heard horror stories where you keep your phone charged like across the room and then you wake up in the morning and it's gone. Because again, you're sleeping in a room with complete strangers and you've never met them and they could get up and go and you'll never see them again. So that is just a quick tip. Always put it underneath your pillow. Let's talk about alarms because I know that can be a little bit uncomfortable having your really loud alarm go off at like 6 a.m. so that you can like go catch your flight or go catch your bus or whatever, and you feel bad about waking up your other roommates, right? This is my advice for you. Set the alarm anyway. Honestly, people have to wake up. If you have a flight you have to go catch, if you have a bus you have to jump on, like set your alarm, okay? Think about it like this as well. There will be people in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. that are making like all of this noise because they're about to go to a club or a bar or something like that, and they don't give a shit if they're making noise and bothering you, right? So if you are waking up at a normal time, like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever, because you want to get your day started, you want to explore, you want to catch a flight, like whatever it is, you should be able to do that as well, okay? So the one caveat here is after your alarm goes off, turn it off. Like don't let it snooze and just go on and on and on and on and then turn it off. Like try to turn it off as fast as possible. That's just like a common courtesy thing. Let's talk about if you should choose the lower bunk or the upper bunk, okay? And I wish someone told me this before I went on my European backpacking journey. Basically, when I was in Vienna, I signed into my hostel and I was really early on that day. They were like, oh, do you want the upper bunk or do you want the lower bunk? And I don't know why, but like the kid version of me like kicked in and I was like, I want the upper bunk because I thought it would be fun just like be on the top. I don't know what I was thinking. And so I basically suggested like, yeah, like you can put me down for the upper bunk and that's good for me. The problem with that is you have to visualize this. Every time you want to get something from your bag, every time you have to go to the bathroom, every time you just want to lay down and relax, you have to climb up a ladder and climb down a ladder. Now, let's also visualize this in the middle of the night. The floor of a hostel is probably the nastiest thing you will ever experience in your life. Like it is disgusting. You have all these random strangers that might just take their shoes off that went God knows where, and they're walking all over the floor, and you're about to put your foot on that floor, okay? Let's not even talk about the showers because that's like another like nasty situation. But basically every time you go down to the floor, you have to put your flip-flops on or shoes on or something. So it's incredibly uncomfortable and not convenient to wake up in the middle of the night to pee because you have to put shoes on. You have to like try not to fall down the ladder and then go to the bathroom. And then also in the bathroom, it's going to be nasty. So you have to bring like other things to make sure it's super clean and stuff. And this is just so like you don't get sick and, along your journey. What I would recommend you doing is 100% requesting the lower bunk if that is an option for you, because it's going to be so much easier to just, you get back from a long day of exploring, you could just sit right in your lower bunk and just like literally lay down and call it a day, and that's it. But if it's your upper bunk, you have to climb up and then like potentially fall and then get all your, it's not fun. Also, your feet are going to be super messy. So you have to like take your shoes off before you even go to bed, versus if you're on the lower bunk, you can keep your shoes on and like lay half on your bed. Okay. So it's just much better all around. But if you are stuck with the upper bunk, because like that could happen, a quick tip for you is you can bring a little tote bag, which you should do anyway. And if you're not sure what to bring on your European backpacking trip, just watch the video in the description box down below, which is like everything I brought for my trip. So basically what you can do is bring a tote, and inside of that tote, put like all the little things that you might need in bed. So like your book or your charger or some snacks, things like that. And then what you can do is just hang that on top of the bed frame, so that when you climb up, you can quickly just grab your tote, get what you need, and then hang it back up. So it's not like a process of going up, down, up, down. It's just a quick grab, be done. Let's talk about lights. All right. So when you are sharing a room with like 6 or 10 or 20 other people and you want to go to sleep, but everyone else doesn't want to go to sleep, it's kind of uncomfortable. It's kind of frustrating. The general rule of thumb is when it's nighttime, like past 12 o'clock or so, it's time to shut the lights off. So personally, like when I was falling asleep, when I stayed at the hostel, I just turned the lights off like immediately. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. And typically people kept them off. There were people going out though and getting ready. So like they turned the lights on by the bathroom or like further away from me to like just be respectful. But the idea is like when it is nighttime, it's time to turn the lights off. But again, that's just going to depend on who your roommates are and what they plan on doing in the night. Or one tip for you is if you know you are leaving in the morning, like early in the morning, I would suggest packing the night before, because you're not going to have light in the morning. Like you can't just turn the lights on and start packing everything up. So if you do it the day before, you have all this light, you can like easily pack things up. You can be loud, you can do whatever you want to do. But then in the morning, it's like you quickly grab your bags and you're out, In terms of makeup, you can always use like your phone light, which is always helpful, or just like the bathroom light if that's like a separate section of the room. Also, since I was on the top bunk, I used the flash on my phone to like get up and down the ladder if I needed to. It was just a nightmare. I would highly recommend just going on the lower bunk and like skip that headache altogether. Okay, let's talk about the checking in process. So it's different for every hostel, but typically when you make your reservation online, they will ask you like, do you want a towel? Do you want bed sheets? And you're probably like, what? Like, isn't that like, that should be a part of it, right? No. Okay, hostels are cheap because they just give you a place to sleep, and that is it. They have to pay their staff, and that's literally it. So if you want a towel, that means they need to wash it and give it to you. So like it's extra. It's an extra charge. And it's not super expensive. I think it was like €3 or something, but just say yes. That's all I'm going to tell you. During the check-in process, if they ask you if you want a towel or bed sheets, say yes, pay the money. I know it's going to be an uncomfortable experience anyway, being in a hostel, so just make it the best that you can possibly make it, okay? Let's talk about the bathrooms now. The bathrooms are typically shared. There's no way you're going to get your own bathroom. Unless you have a private room, you could have a private bathroom, but that's rare. So typically you're sharing a bathroom with everyone within your dorm room, or just like your room, which could be like 4 people, 6 people, 8 people, 10 people, and so on. Typically they are broken up by gender. Like the one that I went to, I wanted it to be all female. Like I was not having it for the mixed gender room, because think about how dirty that gets. Like it can get very dirty. The staff of the hostel, I think they do clean the bathrooms potentially, like when everyone checks out. But when I arrived, the bathroom was clean, so that was nice. But then it got pretty dirty really fast. I think there were 8 girls in my room. Yeah, I woke up in the morning and I wanted to vomit. Like it wasn't good. When you take a shower, bring flip-flops. You absolutely need shower flip-flops, because you're going to catch some sort of disease if you don't. Like think about, we're going to get the visual in your head, okay? think about how many people, these random like 6 people, 8 people, 10 people, 14 people or whatever, that are taking the same exact shower as you, like this, the same space. They're going to come into the shower wearing no shoes, and their feet, you don't know where they've been. Maybe they took them off. They were walking in a field in the middle of Vienna or Budapest or Paris or whatever. And then they come back, and then all of their dirt and just like nasty stuff is coming off of their body and landing on the shower surface that you are now standing on without shoes. Don't you think you might get a disease if you do that? Probably. Okay. So just do yourself a favor and wear shower shoes, wear flip-flops. Never take your shoes off in a hostel. Just don't. The only time you take your shoes off is when you're about to fall asleep. Okay. That's all I have to say. It's nasty. And just try not to touch anything in the bathroom if you can. Okay. And if you have to, put towels down and just like, I don't know. I'm not a super like clean freak or anything. It's just the hostel bathroom situation really made me sick. Like I wanted to gag. It was just not ideal for me. Now let's talk about checkout the day before, okay? Make sure you pack the night before because it's easy to grab your bags and just run right out. When the lights are on, it'll be easier to see if you forget anything in the room, okay? Thing I want to talk about is the gender-focused room. So when you do pick your hostel, you can pick, do you want your room to be all females? Do you want your room to be all males? Or do you want a mixed room? Those are your 3 options. You can also get a private room, which would mean it's just you. Or maybe it's like one other person potentially. But if you're going to take that route, just get a hotel. Because honestly, like if you price check or compare, sometimes a hotel could be cheaper. Or an Airbnb, which that's what I did a lot. Whatever gender room you choose, and also the number of people in your room that you choose, that will indicate how loud your dorm room is going to be. If you want to get to sleep fast, I would pick a room with like less people, okay? Okay, the next question is, should you talk to your neighbors? Like, should you become friends with the people that you're like sleeping with, or should you just kind of like get by and like do your thing? The answer for that is yes, you should absolutely talk to your neighbors. It's fun to like get to know where everyone's been traveling because everyone has the same travel bug. Like they just want to see the world. So I actually met some really interesting people. Unfortunately, the people that I met in my dorm, they were like, oh, we've been traveling like all day and like we went out like all last night. So we're so tired. We're just going to relax all day long. And I was like, okay. And so I wanted to go spend the day with like random people and like, you know, just travel, get that experience. I wasn't really lucky with that. And honestly, I liked walking around Europe all by myself, but you know, it was nice to talk to those people and just see where they've been. And then everyone ended up going out at night, like clubbing. And I'm just like, I don't club. I just don't like doing that. Plus I had to catch a bus in the morning. So I just did not want to go out with them. So you have to kind of like, it is definitely a party scene. There's going to be a lot of people that want to party, but if you want to find people that are more, you know, in your energy, within your vibe, what you can do is go out into like the lobby area of the hostel, and typically people out there are like doing work, or sometimes they're doing remote work, or they're reading a book or something like that. And it's a lot easier to like talk to those sort of people and then, you know, make friends that way. So that's something you can do as a suggestion. Okay, let's talk about sex. So when you are in a hostel and you want to have sex with someone in a bunk bed, you have to be aware that you have neighbors and they can hear everything and it's loud. Like my tip for you is just really think about what you're doing. Like, do you really need to have sex that badly? That's all I have to say. It's not fun to wake up in the middle of the night and hear that. We'll just keep it there. Last thing I want to talk about is the locker situation within hostels. So one thing you absolutely need to bring when you go to a hostel is a mini lock, because what you're going to do after you check in and you buy your towels and your bed sheets or whatever, they're going to just send you into your room. There's no place to put your stuff besides a little like cubby or like a drawer or something. That's what I had. And the only way to lock up your stuff is with a little mini lock that you have to bring. Okay, you can maybe buy some at some hostels, but just bring your own because it's super cheap on Amazon and you can just like skip the price, okay? It's very important to lock your stuff up so you don't get robbed. I have talked to people that have shared horror stories with me where they're like, I just kept my stuff out. I trusted my roommates and I woke up in the morning, my phone was gone, my bag stuff was gone, and like that was it, right? So don't trust a single soul. Just lock your stuff up and thank me later. Anyway, guys, in conclusion, I would highly recommend just booking yourself at different Airbnbs across Europe, because I actually only stayed at one hostel, and for me, it was like a horror story experience because I just felt so gross. I felt like I could barely get any sleep. I didn't trust anyone in my dorm. Like, they just all seemed really, I don't know, sketchy. And even though everything was locked up, I felt very weird and not comfortable. So honestly, what you should do is look at the different Airbnbs around the city that you're going to be staying in and just price match. Like, see, okay, you know what? The Airbnb could be the same price, or maybe the Airbnb is like $30 extra. And then in my mind, what I was thinking was like, okay, just try to make $30 extra in the day somehow, right? Or just remember that your safety and your peace of mind is the most important thing when you are traveling, especially if this is your first solo trip across Europe, like a brand new place. It's very scary. So if you can make yourself feel as comfortable as possible, I would almost recommend dropping a little bit extra money on an Airbnb instead of a hostel to make yourself feel safer, okay? A lot of times the Airbnbs that I got were like maybe $30, $40 more, but I felt 1,000,001 times better because I had my own kitchen, I had my own bathroom, I had a huge bed, I had everything that I needed. And plus, a lot of the Airbnbs in Europe have these cute little balconies too. So you can go out there and like eat your breakfast and like your espresso. It's so cute. And yeah, it's a little bit extra money, but like, how often are you just like backpacking through Europe having an amazing time? Okay. So in conclusion, I know that staying at hostels can be a little bit daunting and overwhelming, and especially if you've never been to one before, you don't really know what to expect. So I hope this video kind of gives you an idea of what to expect when you first go to a hostel and what that overnight experience will look like. I hope that these tips also make you feel a lot more confident about your trip to Europe. Just remember, I'll just give you like a quick TED talk here. Remember that this is an adventure, okay? It's an adventure, and you're most likely going to be uncomfortable at some point, but that's the point of traveling, right? You're supposed to push yourself to your limit to figure out a solution to all of these different problems, okay? So if right now you're like, how am I going to afford a place to sleep every single night in Europe? Okay, well, hostels are an option, but also Airbnbs are an option as well, okay? Another thing, maybe you're very uncomfortable about making friends when you are solo traveling. Well, here is the solution. You can make friends within your hostel, but you can also make friends by walking into a cafe and talking to people. Like, I am telling you, people in Europe are so much more open to just having a conversation with random people, saying hello to you, and then just like getting to know your whole life story. Like, when I was in Budapest, I was eating a smoothie bowl outside, and this random guy comes up to me and was like, "What are you eating?" And I was like, "It's a smoothie bowl." And then we started talking for like, I think it was a couple of hours. And then he ended up owning the bookstore that was like right next to the smoothie bowl place, and was sharing his whole life story and like telling me all the good food places to eat on that street in Budapest. Also, if you want to watch that Budapest vlog, I'll put that in the description box down below. Whatever you end up doing, wherever you end up staying, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be an amazing experience, and you'll have a lot of great stories to share. Okay, so that is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are interested in more travel videos, please check out all of the suggested videos down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.